Hello and welcome to another Pauper video. I'm Kalikaiz. Today I'm going to be discussing a lot of data. We're looking at the Pauper metagame for the past 5 weeks on Magic Online's MTGO 5.0 trophies. So I've compiled a lot of information about what the metagame has looked like and how it has shifted since the release of Secrets of Strixhaven. Before we get into it, I want to mention that this channel is sponsored by Card Market. So thank you. Get your cards on Card Market if you would like to, get them. We also are promoting the Bristol Pauper League's Ursa's Saga IPT event on June 6th at Local Club Bristol in Clock Tower Yard. This is going to be a very large IPT with 128 tickets. They've got playmats, prizes, altars, and as far as I know, Skura is going to be there, so that'll be pretty fun. And if you want to check out sideboard guides for the decks that I like to play, that's on patreon.com/Kalikaiz, and you can join the YouTube membership for videos like these a little bit ahead of time before they go live for the public. So let's get into what happened in the Magic Online leagues. So the week of April 12th through 18th was the last week before Secrets of Strixhaven release, and we saw Mono Red Madness on top at 12%, then Dimir Terror, then White Weenie, Garden Spy, Affinity going down the line. We got a one-of pizza combo, it looks like a bunch of one-ofs. It's still a kind of flat metagame, but a little bit at the top with the usual suspects. Moving up, this was the first week that Secrets of Strixhaven released on Magic Online. It did come out on a Tuesday, so the data is a little bit wonky. We mostly had Mono Red Madness here, but then we had White Weenie coming in behind it. There was a bit of a change to White Weenie. We have the normal White Weenie list, and then we have a new artifact-based White Weenie that kind of just goes wide. So I will be covering that shortly. Then behind here, we have Mono Blue Terror and Dimir Terror together taking up 12% of the metagame. My understanding was that Dimir Terror was better into the White Weenie resurgence after Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles plus Elves because they can board wipe, whereas the other decks cannot. We have Rally Red, Gardens, Jund Wildfire. On the next week, so here we have a Boros Tribe, which is the first time that this deck has existed as far as I know in Pauper. It is got a new card, Pursue the Past, which you can get on Card Market. #ad. Not a very expensive card, it just came out. It says for red, white, you gain 2 life, you can discard a card, and if you do, draw 2 cards. It also has flashback for 2 red, white. This was used in another list, the Naya Gates list, but this gives you a bunch of card advantage when you combine it with Eidolons that come back to your hand, and you have Tireless Tribe as a potential win con combined with the Inside Out combo to bash your opponent. So we'll take a deeper look at this list in a little bit. The next week, let's see, we also had Naya Gates making an experience. Green-White Gates has been a thing now, making a larger part of the metagame. Green-White Gates just won the Pauper Showcase, so this is a force to be reckoned with. Moving to the next week, we have a random resurgence or maybe kind of downtick of Mono Red Madness because Jund Wildfire is 7.3% of the metagame. If we look at the previous week, it was 4% and then it was 2%. So maybe it is increasing, but Mono Red Madness had a very poor week with only 11 trophies versus the 25 from the previous week. So the metagame looked super flat on the week of 426 to 5.2. We also have a couple more Cycle Storm trophies. Cycle Storm got a new card, Page Loose Leaf, and I will talk about that. In the next most recent week, Mono Red Madness back on top, baby, just like it always has been with 27 trophies. Never a bad time to be playing the best burn deck in the format. Best burn deck that's ever existed in Pauper, probably. Now, behind it has Mono Blue Terror and then Affinity. Affinity didn't get any upgrades, but people have been playing it more. It got the upgrade recently from Turtles with the Utrom monitor. There's also been people experimenting with different versions of Affinity. So let's get into the list. I wanted to talk about some of the lists that are here because of new cards. So the first one is a Turbo Fog. I first saw this from Adepto Terra, and this person is playing the same list. And this is blue-green Turbo Fog, and the new card here is Embrace the Paradox, which is similar to Growth Spiral. Here we draw 3 cards and then can put a land from our hand onto the battlefield tapped, but it's 3 green blue. This is just a way to play more at instant speed. Draw 3 cards You can sneak in Bajuka Bogs at instant speed, or pick up the Bajuka Bog with a Growth Chamber and then play a Growth Spiral, put it back in, which can be interesting. In the sideboard, they've got Murmuring Mystic to, I guess, pressure opponents, potentially. But that's cool that Turbo Fog is back in the game. The other deck I wanted to look at was Green-White Gates. So this was doing a thing previously. It doesn't have a ton of new cards. This specific list was playing a new card, Follow the Lumerets. It has Infusion. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. You can reveal a creature or land card from among them and put it into your hand. And if you gain life this turn, you can instead reveal 2 creature or land cards from among them and put them into your hand. The rest to go on the bottom of your library in a random order. So this is a draw 2, a really good card selection draw 2 for this deck. And the way that they made it work was by playing Sacred Cat and Outlaw Medic to gain life. They also have Armadillo Cloak, which they can put on their cards and then just bash in. But the main purpose of this deck is to find a Guardian of the Guild pack very quickly, put Armadillo Cloak on it so it gives it lifelink, and then just slam in with the Basilisk Gate over and over. I've heard people in the Familiars Discord say that this is basically just Bogles. You're just trying to have a big old creature that can't be interacted with. The next deck was a Naya Gates. This came out of Italy originally. I'm not sure the exact team that created it, but they recognized that Sneaky Snacker is a good card. They combined it with the new Pursue the Past and Malevolent Rumble. So Malevolent Rumble is milling over a bunch of things that have flashback or can be gotten back with Embalm or Disturb. Faithless Looting has flashback. Pursue the Past has flashback. Prismatic Strands comes back in the graveyard. So this makes Malevolent Rumble a very strong card in this deck, and they're playing a very similar game plan, just eventually looking to gate up one of their creatures to bash in. Here we have Call Gates from Piracini. This didn't get new cards, but I wanted to talk about it because I haven't been explaining what's going on here. This Call Gates now playing 4 of Open the Gates just to find their Basilisk Gate quicker, as well as this player played 4 Moment's Peace in the main deck, which this doesn't make any sense to me to play Moment's Peace in the main deck, but they did do that. And then later on, we had Kerblinksy actually split a challenge playing Moment's Peace in the main deck. I think that's pretty interesting. They also are playing the 4 of Guardian Guild pack plus Armadillo Cloak. Yeah, it just seems like a good way to fight the Mono-Red Madness metagame. And here, an upgraded deck, we have Cycle Storm. This was me trophying. We want to check out this card, Page Loose Leaf. So I thought this card was going to be bad. It has Grandeur. Discard another card named Page Loose Leaf. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal an instant or sorcery. Put that card in your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. You may have seen my video with Cycle Storm. I did publish that. I might have another one. I don't think so. Bryant Cook also had a video with the Cycle Storm, but I thought this was going to be bad until I understood exactly how it works. Now we're drawing through our entire deck, and oftentimes in Cycle Storm, you're cycling your creatures trying to find the next ritual, trying to find the next draw spell. Songs of the Damned are Reaping the Grave. So this is a way to get that for a 0 cost after paying the first 2 up front. And then when you reap in the graves, you're going to return it first, giving you even more looks at your now best cards, which are rituals and Reap in the Graves as you move through. Reusing this feels really, 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 really strong, but the deck is still hard to play, very hard to play. And in my opinion, the even harder part about it is that the entire metagame is built around anti-graveyard because of Sneaky Snacker existing, because of Spy, because of Terror, and all those things together are making it hard for this deck to pay off. But we have a player, Student Anslinus, has been absolutely crushing with Cycle Storm, managing to top 8 a challenge, a bunch of trophies as well. So this is the deck you could play if you're interested in songs in Storm type combo. Now we get to the Inside Out combo. Los Ancato was the one who built this version of it. We're playing Aurora Eidolon as a 4 of and 2 Sandstorm Eidolons. My opinion is that the Aurora Eidolon is there because you can use it as another way to stall. It has the ability to sacrifice it to prevent 3 damage. You also are playing Spirit Mascot. Whenever 1 or more cards leave your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Now, this card is pretty wild because each time, or each Eidolon leaves the graveyard by itself. So if you have a couple of Eidolons, they're going to get that many counters on the Spirit Mascot. And it even gets a counter if your opponent, exiles your graveyard because those cards left the graveyard. So it gets very huge very fast. We have the Sneaky Snacker value engine because of course, and then Tireless Tribe, when you are putting a bunch of Eidolons back in your hand, you can do silly things like discard the Eidolon to the Tireless Tribe, then cast your multicolored spell like Pursue the Past or Thrilling Discovery, which puts the Eidolons back in your hand. You discard them, you draw some more cards. Yeah, it's a pretty cool deck for sure. They're playing Dimension X, I think, just for flex, because this is the same as Windscarred Crag. There's no difference. You don't have to play the Ninja Turtles one, but you could. I've recorded this. That should be going live on my channel for members shortly, before this video comes out, for everyone as well. So you can check that out. I know other people have done content of it as well. And that we have one more deck that is kind of new that has been making waves. I don't think you got any more. Yeah, there doesn't appear to be any new cards from Secrets of Strixhaven, but it does have the Leonardo Big Brother from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And the idea of this deck is we're playing a Metalcraft White Weenie with Ornithopter, Phyrexian Walker, Ardent Recruit as a 1-drop, Inspector. You know, we got the 8 Inspectors. They chose not to play the new Secrets of Strixhaven, I guess, Inspector, but I guess you could do that as well. And then for card draw, you have the Inspectors to crack the clues. You have Martyr's Soul. Oh no, this one is bigger. There's Search Party Captain as a cantrip creature. Salt Road Pack Beast as a cantrip creature. And then you have Spider-Man Web Slinger, which you can in-web a creature in play to get it back to get more value. So it works out pretty well. And then Ramosian Rally is a strong card because you can just cast it. You don't have to do anything where you actually like pay 3 mana for your pump spell like regular White Weenie. So yeah, moving up, we're going to go into the spicier decks. I'm going to try to go in order of spiciness level. Well, let's see. So this is another Green-White Gates, not super spicy, but this was another sort of take on it. I'm going to get rid of that one. We already know about Green-White Gates. Here we have a Dimir Affinity from Siri 80. This player loves to experiment. This is a Glaze Fiend Affinity. So Glaze Fiend is a 1 black 0/1. Whenever another artifact enters the battlefield under your control, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn, which can really go off with things like Blood Fountain. And then they have Sewer Valence Camera to push damage in, it looks like. This is also a flash, so that's kind of nice. Focusing on artifacts. Going up, we have a Dimir Affinity from Mr. Fuinha. Still Dimir Affinity, kind of different. They are trying to go wide with Ethereum Spinner, and they're playing 4 Utrom, 4 Somber Hoverguard, 4 Refurbished Familiar. So very, very go wide in the air, which is pretty cool. Cast down, and then they have 4 Bargain, 4 Thoughtcast, 3 Cryogen Relic. Nice. Yeah, this deck is pretty sweet. I faced it once, I think. Moving up, another Dimir control. This one is sort of like an old school teachings control, but there's no teachings. Instead, you're looping the deck with something like Devious Cover Up, which is counter target spell. And if it was countered, exile it, but you can shuffle up to 4 target cards from your graveyard into your library. Plus they have Campfire. Very, you don't get to do anything opponent kind of deck. We have an Esper Ephemerate, which is a similar control deck, kind of taking the Jeskai Ephemerate, but just turning it black so they can play Snuff Out and Cast Down. Definitely a lot of removal spells here. They have a Campfire to loop as well. We have a mono black control. Always good to see somebody being able to make success with mono black control. 2 Fairy Macabres in the main deck is a statement. They also have 2 Bajuka Bogs, and they've got Campfires. Only 1 Snuff Out, 1 Spinning Darkness. That's interesting. They have Tithing Blade. And then they're playing a package of 3 Skullcap Snails, which is similar to Refurbished Familiar, and 4 Refurbished Familiars. Then they have a Viscer's Insight and Fanatical Offering that can sacrifice their creatures and get them back with Blood Fountain so they can continue making their opponents suffer. Here we have an Altertron from Lorien. This person has played a very interesting version of Altertron. They chose to play 4 Barrels of Blasting Jelly. This is an interesting card. You can pay 1 to change a Tron, a colorless, into 1 mana of any color, but you can only activate it once each turn. Although you can sacrifice it to deal 5 damage to target creature, which deals with most things in the format. They're also playing 4 Prophetic Prism. No, not any number of Chromatic Stars here. And then they have Campfires in the main deck. I guess that's a way to kind of loop their deck. Plus they're playing Brambleworm and Fangren Marauder in the main deck and Krarklan Shaman. So in my opinion, it looks unfocused while also being probably extremely on purpose the whole way around. They managed to top 8, I believe. They came in 18th in the Pauper Showcase Challenge, which was an 8-round event. So that was really, really good of a showing from them. This seems like maybe it would be the path forward for the Tron deck. Speaking of Tron, Sid or S1D, they managed to 5-0 with this crazy version of Tron that they beat me to a pulp with in a league. This is 4 Avenging Hunter, 4 Rooftop Percher. We've got Maelstrom Colossus and Boarding Party, Brambleworm. Rooftop Percher is interesting. You might not have seen it. It's a 5-mana 3/3 flyer changeling. When it enters, exile up to 2 target cards from graveyards, and you gain 2 life. They're focused on getting Tron as fast as possible with Ancient Stirrings plus crop rotation. And then they have Unfathomable Truths as a draw spell they can pick off the Ancient Stirrings. And then they just start slamming big guys. I'm interested in trying this one out eventually. Moving up, we have a Sesta special. Sesta was the person that managed to get top 16 in Pauper Get-In with Pizza Combo the very first week it was out. This is Devoted Druid / Vidalcan Engineer combo. They have Vanishing Nag Helix, so 6 of those effects. They have 1 Guac, 2 Surveillance Camera, and then they can Trinket Mage to get the Guac or the camera, and then if they make Infinite Mana with a Devoted Druid, they can try and draw their deck with the Limbus until they get the Engineer online, and then they Engineer going, and then they can bounce the Limbus, and it's, oh my goodness, then they draw into the Devoted Druid. It seems like a lot of clicking, man. I'm surprised. I'm happy for you, but I don't think I want to do that. So the top 3 spicy decks. Moving up, we have 4 Color Control. I just thought 4 Color Control was pretty greedy, but you know, they were able to get it done, so good on you. They have 4 Lorien Revealed, as well as Genersen and Troll to cycle for lands. And then their threats are just all over the place. One is pretty much up and down the line. Snuffouts, Fire Ice, Pulse Marasa. And they have Campfire plus Relic in their main deck. Cool. Azorius Control. This is Familiars without Familiars. I saw USP dudes playing this a while ago. I see that they were able to trophy with it in January. It's nice to see some people being able to succeed with like off-color control decks. Lunarch Veteran is a way to just get a bunch of life. And then the top spicy list, I gotta give it to this Teamer Skred deck. This player, or at least a couple of players, have trophied with Teamer Skred just over and over and over, which is very impressive. But the thing that really sticks out to me, they've got 4 Spider Manifestation or Leyline Weaver if you play on Magic Online. This says whenever you cast a spell with mana 4 or greater, untap the creature. And all their other creatures are 4 mana or greater, including Writhing Chrysalis. And you could use it also to cast Lorien Revealed. Very, very cool deck. Congratulations to Andre Doria for that. Let me know what you thought about the deck list. I didn't have time to compile all of the Pauper Challenge results. Hopefully we'll see something from Kerblinksy soon. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.